All right, what's up, guys? Wanted to talk with you today about something that I think is really a life changer in Football Manager. So we'll go ahead and go straight into FM. I didn't know about this until I saw some guy's YouTube video about it, probably like a year and a half ago or something like that. So in Football Manager, there is a note system. The Sports Interactive doesn't talk a lot about this, but if you click on any player, so here's Ian Gu, you go over to History, go over to Create Note, you have this system where you can make notes. You can do weird things. You can have it remind you about a note. You can have it remind you like multiple times. You can be reminded every day, I guess, in game. You can have a certain date when you're reminded. You can put it into categories. You can do all sorts of other stuff. I've tried this stuff out. The problem with putting notes into categories and all this stuff is that the only way to get at them is you have to actually click in the player and look at them, right? And so it doesn't really do that much. It doesn't help. I'll show you the reason why. So when you look over your staff screen, if a guy has a note, it'll pop up with this little yellow box, little yellow flag that's right next to their name, right? This shows up everywhere. This shows up like everywhere you see a player. So if we go over to, I don't know, like scouting, and we go over to scouted players, and we look through this. Let's see if we can find one. Players who we've scouted, who we've put notes on, who should show up somewhere here. I know that we've had them, but they will show up with notes with a little yellow note thing on their name. It may be that we're scouting so many players that, you know, it just doesn't show up or whatever. If you go over to the player in range screen and you look at players that you've actually already looked at and you've already noted the guy, it should also show up. Again, it's not quite showing up here for whatever reason, maybe because the players that we've looked at aren't showing up anymore or whatever. But in theory, at least, it should show up the same way. The nice thing about this is that you can put a flag on a player that, say, for example, you're scouting that you don't want to sign. So let's take a look here. I was doing scouting just a second ago. Yeah, we have some players here who we're not going to sign. So Park Jun-young, for example. Park Jun-young is susceptible to injuries. He would be a very good signing for the future, but unfortunately, he tends to be injured more than other players. And so I put a little flag on him. What this flag does is it means that when I'm looking for a striker later on, and I'm looking at like a 21-year-old Park Jun-young, I'm not going to remember what the scouting report said. There's no way in the game to save this. But because I flagged him with a note, I will always know that there's something wrong with him. I don't have to look at him. If I really want to know, I'll go over here, look at the note screen, and there it is, injuries. See up there. So let's see. How do I get to that? Yeah, you just look at it here, and here I've written injuries, which tells me that, yeah, he gets injured a lot. So that way I know if Park Jun-young comes up on some sort of scouting screen later on, or if he ends up with a different club and I'm looking at the club and I'm like, is there anyone I want to sign away from these guys or something, then he will show up. That's what happens, right? So I have that here for all players who have the following things: anyone who's injury prone, anyone who's inconsistent, and anyone who dislikes big matches. Because we have this under 18 squad that doesn't play any actual games, I stuck all of the players who I couldn't sell who have this onto the under 18 squad. So they're just sort of sitting around here. Some of these guys are older. Some of these guys are like not quite so old. Some of them are out on loan. Some of them, I mean, whatever's happening to them. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening here. They're going to be parked here for the time being. This squad from now on is going to be the place where I stick like new gents who come along who have good potential, but who have this problem of having, you know, whatever issue it is that happens. So like Park Kyung-ho, who's only 15, we're not going to sell this guy right away, right? He's inconsistent, but it's not like a deep red inconsistency. It's an orange. That might actually go away. And if that goes away, well, maybe we move him up a little bit more. I don't know. At any rate, I'm willing to take a little bit of a chance on him. In preparation for that, we probably should have him trained as the shadow striker, because that's how we'll have him be used. And then we just sort of have him sitting here on the under 18 squad. He can sit here even if he's above 18, because it doesn't matter. The reason why is because they don't have any actual fixtures. They just play friendlies and go earn me money, right? So the nice thing about this system is that, you know, I don't have to click into like Moonki or whatever and be like, what was his problem? Oh yeah, that's right. He's also inconsistent, right? I don't have to do that for every player. I can just see at a glance, oh yeah, this is one who I really don't want to play. You know, and then later on, eventually we'll loan some of these guys out. We'll get them sold off. We'll try to make millions of euros off of them. without even lifting a finger. Not a bad idea, huh? And really, the key and the core to the system is knowledge of notes and how these notes work. So that if it comes time to, I don't know, like choose my main squad, I know, oh, this guy's got a flag, I'm going to avoid him. You know, this guy doesn't have one, but we're going to play that guy. Now, you don't have to do it my way. You can do it with all sorts of stuff. There might be players who you want to flag because, like, you know, you want to remember that they're young, or you want to flag them because, I don't know, there's something you want to remember about this guy, right? You can create your own system and make it work. However, even though you can create different categories of flags, it will not change the color. It will always be a yellow box, a yellow flag right next to the guy's name. So keep that in mind. If you come up with some sort of like really fancy system, chances are really good that it's going to do nothing. Anyway, there you have it. Hope you're having a good day, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.